Amara smiled brightly as she stepped into her new home. The small but beautiful bungalow in the heart of Enugu was everything she had dreamed of. Her husband Emeka held her hand and led her in, showing her the living room with its shiny marble floors, the cosy bedroom painted soft cream, and the kitchen that smelled like fresh paint. Amara was grateful. She was finally married at 28, and Emeka had seemed like the perfect man, calm, handsome, and hard-working. Their courtship had been short, just 6 months, but everything about him had felt right. She believed she had found her peace. But the peace didn't last. The first morning after their wedding, Amara woke up early and went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. She made yam and egg sauce, setting the table neatly before calling Emeka. He came out, scrolled through his phone, and sat down without a word of thanks. She shrugged it off. Maybe he's just tired. After breakfast, she began gathering the plates, but Emeka remained glued to his phone. When she asked if he would help, he laughed. Help? In this house? A good woman serves her husband. That's what I married you for. Amara blinked, thinking it was a joke, but the look on Emeka's face was cold and serious. By afternoon, Emeka had settled on the couch watching football while Amara swept, washed, cooked, and cleaned. She was exhausted but kept smiling, telling herself it was just the excitement of marriage. That night she fell asleep without even changing her clothes. She was too tired to even dream. But deep down, a small knot of fear began to form in her chest. Something was not right. By the second week, Amara knew her fears were not lying to her. Every morning, Emeka left his dirty clothes on the floor. He dropped wet towels on the bed. His shoes were scattered everywhere. When Amara complained once, he only raised an eyebrow and said, "Is it not why I married you? To make my life easier?" Amara felt a sharp pain in her chest, but said nothing. She didn't want to start a fight so early in their marriage. The chores piled up like a mountain each day. Amara cooked 3 meals daily, fetched water because the taps were faulty, ironed Emeka's clothes, cleaned every room, washed the car, and even trimmed the grass outside. All alone, no house help, no breaks. And Emeka? He sat like a king, barking orders from the couch. Bring me water, warm my food, massage my feet. One evening, after working all day, Amara sat on the edge of the bed, her hands trembling from tiredness. Emeka entered, looking annoyed. "Why didn't you polish my shoes for tomorrow?" he snapped. I'm sorry, I'll do it now," Amara stammered, getting up. As she bent down to pick the dusty shoes, tears welled up in her eyes. She wiped them quickly before Emeka could see. Something was changing in her. A small voice inside whispered, "You are not a slave," but Amara silenced it. She loved Emeka. She had promised to be patient. Maybe things would get better. Maybe. Late that night, as she scrubbed the kitchen floor, she noticed something strange. A piece of paper sticking out from under the fridge. Curious, she pulled it out. It was a letter, and what she read made her heart stop. Amara's hands shook as she unfolded the dusty letter. The handwriting was rough, almost angry. The paper was old, yellowing at the edges. She brought it closer to the dim kitchen light and began to read. "To whoever comes after me, run. Don't stay in this house, you will lose yourself. He is not who you think he is." Amara's mouth went dry. She read the words again and again, her heart racing. What does this mean? Who wrote this? She looked around the kitchen, suddenly seeing the cracks on the walls, the broken tap, the way the fridge buzzed strangely. A deep chill settled over her. Was this letter written by someone Emeka had lived with before? She stuffed the paper into her pocket quickly when she heard Emeka's heavy footsteps approaching. He entered the kitchen, frowning. "What are you doing here by this time?" he asked, his voice sharp. "Just cleaning," Amara replied quickly, forcing a smile. Her heart pounded so loud she was sure he could hear it. Emeka narrowed his eyes suspiciously but said nothing. He turned and left, slamming the door behind him. Amara leaned against the counter, breathing heavily. She needed to find out more. She needed answers. The next morning, when Emeka left for work, she decided to search the house properly. She started with the bedroom, lifting the mattress, checking drawers, even crawling under the bed. Hours passed, and just when she was about to give up, she found something, hidden deep inside the wardrobe behind a loose panel, a small battered diary. Her fingers trembled as she opened it, and the first page made her blood run cold. "My name is Chidinma. I married Emeka 5 years ago. If you are reading this, know that I did not leave by choice." Amara stumbled backward, the diary falling from her hands. Who was Chidinma? What had happened to her? 1,000 questions filled Amara's mind, and she knew one thing for sure: her nightmare was just beginning. Amara sat frozen for a long time, staring at the diary on the floor. The quiet ticking of the wall clock filled the room, each second pulling her deeper into fear. Slowly, she picked the diary up again and turned the pages with trembling fingers. Chidinma had written about her life with Emeka, how he had charmed her during their courtship, showered her with gifts, promises, and sweet words, how he had changed immediately after marriage. "He made me do everything. I was his maid, his cook, his driver, his cleaner. He would lock the doors and hide the keys if I complained. I had no phone, no way to call my family, no friends allowed. I was trapped." Amara gasped. The words felt like knives slicing through her heart. This was exactly what was happening to her, just beginning. As she turned the pages, she came across one last entry. "If anything happens to me, know that Emeka planned it. I overheard him once talking on the phone. He said he couldn't risk another scandal. I don't know what he plans to do. Please, whoever finds this, be careful." Tears filled Amara's eyes. What had happened to Chidinma? Where was she now? Suddenly, Amara's mind flashed back to the day her mother had warned her. "Not all that glitters is gold, Amara. Take time to know who you are marrying." She had been too eager, too desperate to settle down. Now she was paying the price. Determined, Amara wiped her tears. She couldn't leave immediately. She needed a plan. Emeka was clever, and from what Chidinma wrote, he was dangerous too. That evening, she cooked Emeka's favourite meal, egusi soup and pounded yam, pretending as if nothing was wrong. When he sat to eat, she watched him carefully, hiding her fear under a fake smile. She had one goal now: survive, and secretly find out everything about Emeka's past before it was too late. Because something told her, if she made one wrong move, she might end up like Chidinma, or worse. Days passed, and Amara played her role perfectly, the obedient wife, the smiling hostess, the quiet shadow moving around the house. But inside her a fire was burning. She needed answers, and she needed to be smart. One evening, as Emeka was snoring loudly on the couch after a heavy dinner, Amara noticed something she had never paid attention to before: a small door at the end of the corridor. It was always locked. She had thought it was a storage room, but now, with all she had discovered, she wasn't so sure. Her heart pounding, she tiptoed toward it. She tried the handle, locked, as expected. She scanned the living room. Emeka was fast asleep, mouth open, breathing deeply. Quietly, she tiptoed back to the bedroom and rummaged through his wardrobe. In one of the inner pockets of his old jeans, she found a bunch of keys. She returned to the door and tried them one by one. Click. The door creaked open. A foul smell hit her nose immediately, stale, like something rotten. She covered her mouth with her hand and stepped inside. The room was dark, with only a thin beam of light from a small cracked window. Old clothes were piled in a corner, broken furniture, and then something caught her eye, a woman's handbag covered in dust. She moved closer and picked it up. Inside she found a faded ID card. Chidinma Okeke. Amara's blood froze. This was proof. Chidinma had lived here. She had been real. But where was she now? Before she could think further, she heard footsteps, heavy, slow, coming closer. Amara's heart jumped into her throat. She quickly shoved the ID card into her pocket and tiptoed out, locking the door behind her just in time. She threw the keys back into the jeans and rushed to the kitchen, grabbing a plate to pretend she was washing dishes. Emeka appeared in the doorway, his eyes sleepy but suspicious. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Just cleaning up," Amara replied, keeping her voice steady. He stared at her for a long moment, then grunted and went back to the couch. Amara's hands were shaking as she scrubbed the plate harder than necessary. She had to be careful, very careful, because now she knew too much, and Emeka could not afford to let her go easily. The next morning, Amara woke up earlier than usual. She had barely slept. Every creak of the house had sounded like danger. As she cleaned the sitting room, there was a knock at the door, a loud, impatient knock. She jumped, her heart racing. Who could it be? Visitors were rare in their home. Emeka didn't like people coming around. She wiped her hands on her wrapper and hurried to the door. Standing outside was a woman, slim, dark-skinned, wearing a plain blue gown. Her face was tense and her eyes darted around nervously. "Good morning," the woman said quickly. "Good morning," Amara replied, confused. "I'm looking for Emeka. Please, is he around?" Amara shook her head. "No, he has gone to work." The woman looked relieved. She leaned in closer and whispered, "Please, my name is Ifunanya. I need to talk to you. It's important. It's about your husband." Amara's heart skipped a beat. "How do you know my husband?" she asked carefully. The woman hesitated, looking behind her as if she was being watched. Then she said, "I can't talk here. Please, can we meet somewhere? There's a small kiosk by the junction. This evening. Please, it's for your own good." Before Amara could say anything, Ifunanya turned and hurried away, disappearing down the dusty road. Amara closed the door slowly, her mind racing. Who was she? What did she know about Emeka? All day, Amara pretended to be normal, but inside she was boiling with anxiety. Even when Emeka returned in the evening, laughing and chatting like everything was fine, Amara barely heard him. Her mind was already at the junction, waiting. When Emeka finally dozed off after eating, Amara slipped out quietly, her heart pounding with every step. She walked quickly to the kiosk, her slippers kicking up dust. Ifunanya was already there, sitting on a bench, looking nervous. As soon as Amara sat down, the woman leaned close and said in a low voice, "You need to leave that house. Immediately." Amara's mouth went dry. "Why?" she whispered back. Ifunanya looked her straight in the eyes. "Because Emeka is not just a wicked husband. He's dangerous, and women who live with him, they disappear." Amara felt the world tilt beneath her feet. Amara gripped the edge of the bench tightly, feeling like she might faint. "What do you mean, disappear?" she asked, her voice shaking. Ifunanya looked around again to make sure no one was listening. She spoke in a whisper. "Chidinma was my elder sister. She married Emeka 5 years ago, just like you, happy at first, but soon things changed. She became a prisoner in her own home." Tears filled Ifunanya's eyes as she continued. She begged him to let her visit us. He refused. We stopped hearing from her. Then one day we went to the house. Emeka said she had packed and left him, but we knew Chidinma would never leave without telling us. Amara clutched her chest. It was all making sense now. The letter, the diary, the handbag hidden away. What do you think happened to her?" Amara whispered, though deep down she already knew the answer. Ifunanya wiped her tears roughly. "I don't know, but I know she's gone, and I know you will be next if you don't leave that house." Amara's whole body trembled. "But he watches me. He knows my every move. How can I leave?" she asked desperately. Ifunanya leaned closer. "There's a market day in 2 days. The streets will be full, noisy. That's the best time to escape. Pack only what you need. No bags that will make him suspicious. Just walk out like you're going to buy something small." Amara nodded slowly. Fear and hope battled inside her. 2 more days. She just needed to survive 2 more days. "Be strong," Ifunanya whispered, squeezing her hand. "You are not alone." They quickly parted ways before anyone could notice. As Amara sneaked back home, her mind raced with 1,000 thoughts. She stepped into the house and froze. Emeka was standing there in the dark sitting room, his arms crossed, his face twisted in suspicion. "Where did you go, Amara?" he asked coldly. And in that moment she realized escaping might not be as easy as she thought. Amara forced a smile, hiding the terror that clutched her throat. I just went to the nearby kiosk to buy some seasoning," she lied, holding up a small sachet of Maggi she had grabbed earlier from her pocket. Emeka's dark eyes studied her, searching for the truth. For a moment, Amara thought he would pounce on her, but then he simply nodded slowly. "Next time, tell me before leaving," he said sharply before turning and walking away. Amara released the breath she had been holding and staggered into the bedroom. She knew now. She had to escape. No matter what, no matter the risk. For 2 days, Amara acted her part perfectly, smiling, cooking, cleaning. Inside, she counted every minute, every second. Finally, the market day arrived. The streets buzzed with activity, women shouting, hawkers selling, motorbikes honking. It was the perfect cover. Amara wore a simple gown and slippers. She tucked a little money inside her bra. No bag, nothing to make Emeka suspicious. She told him she was going to buy pepper. He barely looked up from his phone and waved her off. Amara stepped outside, her heart pounding against her ribs. She walked casually down the street. Step by step, she moved farther from the house, farther from the life that had almost destroyed her. When she reached the corner, Ifunanya was there, waiting in a taxi. Amara jumped in quickly and they sped off before anyone could stop them. Tears poured down her face, a mixture of fear, relief and pain. "You're safe now," Ifunanya said, holding her hand tightly. They drove for hours, far away from Emeka's town, to a new city where no one knew them. Amara started a new life, free, strong and wiser. Months later, Emeka was arrested. It turned out Chidinma wasn't the only woman who had disappeared after marrying him. The police found enough evidence to lock him away for a long, long time. Standing under the bright sun one afternoon, Amara smiled to herself. She had survived. She had escaped. And most importantly, she had found herself again. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Thanks, and stay blessed.